Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odesa, and we are starting today with the following topic: how private business continues to volunteer for the armed forces of Ukraine. But in the beginning, I would like to remind you that you can ask your questions online in Viber, Telegram, WhatsApp. Just scan QR code that you see on the screen. And I would like to present our speaker, Olga Horbachenko, volunteer, co-founder of the private brewery Nizascho myla. Thank you, Olga, for being with us today. This is a very important topic because we, all of us, support the armed forces of Ukraine, and business is actively involved in the process. And could you please share about your function when it comes to support of the armed forces of Ukraine? Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here. As for volunteering, and this is more about our own attitude. This is our natural response to what is happening. So there is no fixed percentage that we give for the armed forces of Ukraine. So this means that when the soldiers, fighters address you, you just try to help them. Yes, that's how it is done. Usually we help with the repairs of car. We also with the technical maintenance of those cars that we bought. Sometimes they address us with drone issues, and this is a very difficult topic for me. And sometimes they ask for fresh water to the Kherson Oblast, around 25-30 cubic meters per month. And this is it's not feasible to supply from Odesa to the Kherson Oblast, but we found the way out. We found the company from Kryvyi Rih. So this means that you order water. No. We don't order water. No, that was the issue for another volunteer foundation. And we just optimized the logistics. When it comes to volunteering, usually it's about optimizing and managing specific processes. What about Odesa units? Do they address you? Do you mean the place of residence of soldiers or units? Yes, those who are from Odesa. Of course, we have some units that we support on a constant basis. And yesterday, we talked for around 30 minutes with one of our favorite soldiers, and they are our friends. Not just like strangers. They are the members of our family, and they are our friends. Do you spend your own money, or do you renounce a fundraising campaign? We try to deal with these issues from our own pocket. So this is the money earned by the brewery. And so my husband now has another source of income because he just joined the armed forces of Ukraine, and the military unit pays him salary. So these are our own money. But sometimes it is difficult to meet everything with our own efforts. Sometimes the amounts are rather large, so we announce money raising. For example, the day before yesterday, I announced the campaign to get money to repair a drone. And it just took one night to close this campaign because different people sent us like 65,000. And I was really surprised. And now there is such an opinion that people are not that active in donating, volunteering, compared to what we saw at the beginning of the full-scale invasion. I don't see this personally because I see that these money-raising campaigns closed rather quickly, because people eagerly donate. It is a difficult question for me because we are not an NGO, we are not a charitable foundation, we don't have some permanent money-raising campaigns. And maybe this is just a question to just an individual, because this is up for people to decide what to do when they feel like frustrated. And this is about mutual support, about support of each other in difficult times. It is very important to have some person to understand that something's wrong with you, and a person who's ready to support you. And I think that this can be like seen in money-raising campaigns, the situation in the front line. So we support each other, and this is important. So you raise money for drones, for cars, but maybe you've had some unique requests. It is okay when like a person returning from the front line doesn't have time to buy flowers to his girlfriend, so I can do this for them. But when it comes to something unique, we usually have something new. For example, recently we had to create the new version of the trunk for one of the cars. We have a classic version with the net that protects from drones, more or less protects from drones. And we have thought of a new version, and this is quite good. And the guys can assemble everything in the field, so it is like has puzzle pieces. We had like different requests, for example, for a boss or something. So you have plenty of stories, but I cannot share with you all the details. Do you meet with your colleagues and business from other regions, and how do they support the armed forces of Ukraine? Yes, of course. We have quite an expanded brewery network and brewery community. And I think that every brewery donates and is involved in different types of charitable events. There is a brewery, Khmelny Kaban in Odesa, and they have a bar. And I know that they have a tradition once per month. Everything they earn for one day at their bar is donated. And I think that this is a very important initiative. There is one more brewery in Dnipro, which is called Mova. They are bigger than our brewery. They all the time report on their social network page and share details about their activities, about their volunteering. Everyone is involved in supporting the armed forces of Ukraine, but perhaps this is my own bubble, but all people around me support to a certain extent the armed forces of Ukraine. We've got online questions, and I would like to remind that all of you can use Viber, Telegram, or WhatsApp to ask questions. And I'd like to remind that our speaker is Olha Horbachenko, volunteer, co-founder of the private brewery Nizascho myla. And we've received a question. Aren't you tired with the war? It is difficult to support for 2 years. Do you have any forecasts for the the war. But this is not maybe the question to you, but you can answer the first question. I would be honest. I am a living being. Sometimes I feel tired. Sometimes I feel that my hands are down. And I think that I should leave everything to run away and to hide and just to forget that the war is there with all its consequences. But I try somehow support myself. Last year, everything was so difficult that I had to address a specialist, and I was diagnosed with depression, and I took antidepressants for more than 6 months. But I'm not embarrassed of this. But I believe that if a person feels really down, they should address a specialist to receive a qualified support. And are you talking about psychologists? No, psychiatrists, because psychologists cannot prescribe antidepressant medicines. Yes, of course, I'm tired, but I just pull myself together out of that state because there are so many people who rely upon our support. And as our favorite soldier says, a Marine says that all the logistics depends, all his subdivision depends on us. Because this is our task. No one can substitute. And when I say us, I don't mean myself. I mean the whole of Ukrainian people. We have one more question online. A lot of MSPs they complained that there is some kind of pressure from the authorities. Have you faced this? Have you faced corruption? At the beginning of the full-scale invasion, but perhaps. Since the full-scale invasion, we haven't seen anything like this. Maybe we're lucky. And I know that our customers, those who buy our beer, are visited quite often with the taxation authorities. I don't know if there were some problems or corruption issues. I don't want to know the details, to say the truth. I have a lot to deal with without this. But as for pressure, I think that it was not like it was before the full-scale invasion when it comes to SMEs. So before the full-scale invasion, it's before my brewery business, when I worked as a lawyer, because this is my background. What would you like to change in the approach of authorities to business as a representative of business? Can I use curse words? No, just leave us alone. This is the only thing I can say now, because people work. Even small-sized enterprises go out of shadow. I can't see this among my friends. People use cash machines. The process is ongoing. If you put more pressure, I don't think that this will have a positive impact. But just leave us alone. Just allow us to earn more, to donate more to the armed forces. Just please simplify some procedures, because the business environment is very regulated. And I can use the example of our brewery. We have developed manufacturing facilities to produce beer. To produce beer, we receive a separate license to produce alcoholic beverages, namely beer. But to sell beer, this license is not enough. You need to receive the license for wholesale and separately for retail sale. we can produce 20 tons beer for a month. Do the state think that we will drink them by ourselves? Because if we are producers, then of course we want to sell it, and this is a logical connection. But there are 3 different licenses, and it is rather difficult to get them. Can people buy your products all over Ukraine? We are represented mainly in Odesa, but recently we have put beer in an aluminum jar, and we are going to disseminate it all over Ukraine. So waiting for the documents to receive, because we need to add some additional information to our license to have the right to sell beer. During the beginning of the full-scale invasion, there were several months when it was forbidden to sell alcoholic beverages, and there were some complaints from consumers and from businesses because the people say that they need to work somehow because this is also the budget revenue. And have you? I was waiting for the question and about the losses during that time. There is quite an interesting situation that our business is the only source for living for our family. So no business, no money. And that's why during the first 2 months, and we spent 99% of our time to volunteering, and we didn't have time to deal with our business, but we need to get money from somewhere because it took us 3 weeks to spend all our savings. And we worked through barter. And that was quite an interesting experience. So we had some alcoholic beverages that was forbidden, and you need just to repair the wheel or rail in the car, and so we could exchange that for our beer. And there is one more interesting thing. Our brewery is located on the territory of the military unit. And we were afraid that we could be attacked as the military unit, and that the brewery would be ruined and the beer would be destroyed. So this is not about losses, this is about survival. And before that briefing, I asked you about the title, the name of your brewery, Nizascho myla, so no sweetie. I know that there is a long story, but just briefly. It is invented by my husband. You need just to ask my husband. I just agreed finally to that name, and I just promote this brand. We are just joking that this is no sweetie. You will never get my beer. Thank you very much, Olha, for being with us today. Thank you very much for your activities from your work. It is very important not to feel down. And I would like to wish you to have the possibility and to have strength to continue what you're doing, because this helps us in our victory. Thank you. That was Olha Horbachenko, volunteer. And we'll continue at 1 p.m.